Hi everybody, welcome or welcome back to another video. My name is Charlotte and today we're wrapping up September. September, it's gone. You can wake me up now. Please and thank you. I read 11 books in September, which is a lot for me. It is a lot for me. I've also figured out this month how I kind of like to read, which basically I read 5 of these books. No, I read 4 of these books in 5 days, and that was too quickly for me. Some people, they love devouring a book in like half a day, whatever. If I do that, I could feel my brain hurting and I could feel my body just feel a little bit empty. I am not built that way. It might be a me thing, it might be an ADHD thing, it might be a dyslexia thing, I don't really know. But I know that if I spend at least 2 days on a book, I usually enjoy it more. Once in a while, I have those books where I read it in a day. And I love it, but not that many books in 5 days. It's not for me. It's not for me, bestie. So I'm so sorry. But yeah, like I said, I read 11 books. I have 10 of them next to me. I was going to get the 11th one. I just wasn't bothered. I just wasn't bothered when I was at work, even though we have it at work. I didn't feel like my shelf was missing it. So I just didn't buy it, which is valid, I think. I bought something else though, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not here to talk about that. The first book that I read in September was Quicksilver, Say Hello to Kingfisher. I was very excited to meet my next book boyfriend, and I was actually very sad when I didn't. I'm not a Kingfisher stan. I am so sorry to say. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. It's fantasy. It's romantasy. I was told it was enemies to lovers. It wasn't. I mean, I could feel him loving her literally from the minute he put eyes on her. I could also feel her being very annoyed, which I actually really liked. I actually really liked that one. I had fun reading it. I have a reading blog out on it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But the short story is it's Faye. It is an FMC figuring out that she isn't who she thought she'd be. No, she isn't who she thought she was, or in a weird way figuring out that she is exactly who she thought she was, because she had a feeling that she was a little bit different. She couldn't really put a finger on it, and throughout the course of the book she gets help to put a finger on what the difference is. There is also talk about like infertility in this one, just a little heads up. I'm not going to tell you in which context or whatever, but if that is a triggering topic, just know that there is talk about not being able to have children. I'm just putting it out there. You do with that information as you will. Yeah, she is normal. He is not. He is willing to do whatever he can to protect his people, even, betray her. She is willing to do whatever she has to do to protect her people, and that also includes betraying him. So they have this back and forth. There is banter, which was very fun, but it was also, I don't know, it didn't give the feel that I was told it was supposed to give. And that's on me, because I listened to somebody else and I just didn't read the book without, asking someone first. Which, hey, some people do enjoy it. Some people, I do actually enjoy hearing people's point of views on books. I got wrongly informed because the person that told me this was enemies to lovers hadn't really actually read the book. They just read it somewhere, and that's what triggers us both to get the book. But, I finally read it and it's a lie. You're a liar. It also has a guide at the start on how to pronounce shit, and I still can't pronounce a single one of these words. So, love that for me. I love that for me. Anywho, first book, I have a reading vlog, like I said, out on it. If you want to go watch it, 3.5 stars. I had fun. The rest we're going to go a little bit more in depth into, because I don't have a reading vlog out on it. Do I? No, I don't, because I got sick, but that's a different story. But hey ho, let's go. Next one is Us Against You. It is the second book in the Bear Town series. This is just a Norwegian cover. It says Vi mot dere, which means us against you. This is a connected series. There's 3 books in the series. I can't really tell you much about what happens in this one because it would spoil the first one. What I can tell you is that this one, the author once again made me go, I loved it. It was 5 stars. Like, I loved the book. I'm so hyped to read the next one, but I'm also deadly scared to read the next one. If you don't know what Beartown is about, it is literally about a town that is called Beartown. They are known for one thing and one thing only, and that is that they produce hockey players that are good or semi-good. Key, okay? You meet several people in all of the books and you get their perspective on something that has happened or is happening, if that makes sense. Sometimes, like in this one, they talk about something that happens in the first book, but in the first book, you get to be with them while it happens. So I was very confused when I started the series. I was like, why am I meeting all these people? Why are you showing me the pub owner? Why am I meeting this person's kids? Why am I meeting the neighbor? Why are we home at the trainer's place? But it all kind of just neatly ties together, and you do start caring about a lot of these people. And even though it doesn't tell you that it changes point of views, it goes so naturally. It just has such a nice flow that you don't really think about it too hard after a few pages. It was the same when I started this one. It's the same thing. Like, you have like a little tidbit, then they change characters, and then you maybe have a page, and then, and at first I was like, oh my god, this is so confusing. But then after like a few pages, it was very easy to follow. It was very nice to follow. The author does a great job of showing us how characters react outwards versus how they react inwards. So sometimes the character might react in disgust and then beat themselves up for several years about how they reacted, but you don't really see them correct their reaction. You just see them beat themselves up, because that's at least how I know things are a lot around in Scandinavia. If we do say something wrong, because we don't want to offend someone a second time, or we don't want to put our foot in it more than we feel like we already have, we just kind of go back and we don't really say much, and when we try, we just hate ourselves even more for it, basically. It's just how it is. He writes these characters with so much emotion, with so much force, and I love it. Literally love it. It is 5 stars through and through. I'm super excited about reading the next one. I don't feel like I told you much about this one either. I don't really feel like I told you much about what the first one is about either, but I am afraid to say something that's very spoilery, and I do not want to do that. The best way to sum it up is, this is a story about loyalty, friendship, and love that challenges everything. And it's the best way to summarize it. I think there's crack in these pages because the story is just so raw. The story makes you feel so many emotions. At least if you're like me and you kind of pick up on other people's emotions. I loved it. I loved it. 5 stars. I can't wait to read the next one, but I'm also deadly scared to read the next one because I have a feeling it's going to make me cry. So that's that. Okay. After I read Emotional Trauma, which, I mean, I'm dramatic in that end. It's not that bad. Then I decided that I was like, hey, why don't we read like a fun, goofy romance book, just to take the edge off. So we read A 9-Month Contract by, is it Amy Dawes? By Miss Amy. This one is the first book in the Mountain Men series. What's it called? It's called Mountain Men. Men on Mountains. Can't remember the name of the series right now, but anywho, this one is about Wyatt and Trista. Wyatt really wants to start a family. Downside, he doesn't have anyone to start a family with, so he decides that, you know what I want? I want a surrogate. I want someone to donate an egg and then cook a baby and then give me the baby and then go bye-bye and leave. Surrogate. So he has a company that tries to help him find a surrogate, and they fail miserably. Then you meet his niece that decides to take action into her own hands. She actually posts an ad in like a local paper for him. It's kind of cringe. Then she says her dad has Riz, which is also very cringe. And then she references a TikTok that was popular like, I don't know, a year ago. That's also You guessed it, a little bit cringe. At that point, I almost DNF'd the book. I was like, there's too many references to pop culture. Like, I understand that she's a teenager. I understand that this is like the language that she might use, but no. I don't feel like the book is written for a teenager. It's written for not a younger audience. So I don't need the lingo. I don't mind it in books if they reference some sort of social media. Like if they're like, oh yeah, I have to post on Instapost. Like I don't mind it. In Zodiac Academy, they have Feybook, which is fantastic because it's, a little bit punny. It matches the book. Don't mind it at all. I don't like it when they literally date the book. When you go, oh yeah, this TikTok was popular in these weeks. See where she gets the inspiration from, I don't like that. I personally do not like it. I almost DNF'd the book. I decided to power through and I was like, okay, once more, I get this icky feeling and I'm going to put it aside and I'm not going to pick up the book again. It didn't happen, luckily. But yeah, his niece finds Trista. Trista wants to be a surrogate, but she gets declined from the same company while Wyatt's niece just happens to be around the corner. They get talking. She introduces them. Bada bing, bada boom. They get like a home insemination kit off Amazon, and he has fun in a cup, and she has fun on her own afterwards. And they all just end up having fun, basically. Yeah. You get to follow along through the pregnancy. You get to see him fall for her. You get to see her fall for him. You also learn a lot about the animals that she wants to start like an animal rescue for. It's an okay read. I gave it 3 stars. I don't have problems recommending it, but it is not the first book that I would recommend someone to pick up if they wanted a sweet, lovey-dovey, smutty romance. It's okay. It's fine, but it's not the best. But I've always said, like, books that I give 3 stars or higher are books that I wouldn't have problem recommending, but it doesn't mean that it's the first one that I would recommend. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's that one. Then, this was one of my most anticipated reads of 2025. Wildcard by Elsie Silva. It's the 4th and final book in the Rosehill series, and I love Bash. Bash is my favorite. I mean, Weston, he's also a top contender. I love Weston. I love a man that can make me laugh. I love a man that doesn't mind that his daughter puts bows in his hair because it makes her happy. I love that shit. If you do not know what the Rosehill series is about, it's about single dads, single parents, because the third one, they're both parents, so yeah, it's single dads. And this one is about Sebastian, or Bash. He is a fire pilot. He learns that he has a kid that he didn't know about. The kid is now an adult. And when he travels to go meet the kid, he also meets Gwen, who is younger. So it is age gap. So you get to be part of their little like meet cute. You get to see his sass. You get to see her sass. Oh, I love it. Like I said, he is a fire pilot, so naturally you kind of read on and you're like, okay, when is the tragedy gonna hit like closer to home? You'll have to read the book to figure out if it actually happens. But it is age gap, like I said. It is ex-boyfriend's dad, so she does. Yeah, It has drama. The one thing that is like very well, one of the things that is like very there is how big of a heart Bash has. Bash comes off as this grumpy old in quotation marks man that kind of just wants to be left alone, but once you get to know him, you can see that he has like the biggest heart. He just loves people, the people that he cares about. He really like takes to heart and he cares about them. And the same Gwen does. Gwen just loves with her entire heart, and she just wants everyone to feel well in their body, big, small, blue, green, She doesn't really care as long as you are happy in your body. Bash is so loyal that ends up in a way being his downfall. And I love their story. I feel like the story is also very mature in a way that when conflict happens, they don't just run with it. Like, they really try and handle it as adults. And I mean, at this point, I had read 2 books. I have read 2 books in the Chestnut Spring series. I haven't read her first series. So I wasn't expecting it to be like a chapter where you had like this big, you know, circle moment where you would meet these people and that, and you blah, 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 because I didn't have a connection to them. I felt like it was neatly tied up because this is the first series that I've finished. You do get to meet the person that the MMC. You do get to meet the MMC from the next series, from what I understand. But yeah, I don't know. I feel it was neatly tied together. I gave it 5 stars all around. I loved it. I wish I could read it again. Crazy Clyde made me cry. I loved it. 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 Then I was like, let's give Miss Amy another try, shall we? Because this was the one that I actually really wanted to read. I didn't really want to read the first one, but this was the one that I actually really wanted to read. But I have this thing, interconnected standalones. You do always get some tidbits in this one from the first one. So I decided that this is the one that I was going to read. This is like this. I'm going to read it first. This one didn't make me cringe as hard to start out with. This one was very fun. There is a smut club, and not a book club. A club you go for smutting, horizontal tango, that type of stuff. There is talk about that in this book. They actually, you know, stuff like that. It is a fun little book. This one is about Dakota and Calder. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. How do you pronounce his name? Calder. I think it's Calder. I pronounce it differently in my head every time. The reason I want to read this one is because he has a cat that he adores. The cat is named Milkshake, and he lives up in the mountains. Like far up in the mountains, like there's a lot of wild animals. So he keeps on taking his cat out in a baby carrier. And I was like, I want to read that. Yeah. So I started a new series just because a man is carrying a cat in a baby carrier. But it's the same thing here. This one is, how would you put it? Like, I don't know, sister-in-law's best friend. They have a lot of banter. They have history in a weird way. And the history keeps on coming back and not biting them in the arse per se, but it keeps on being persistent on why their relationship kind of goes the way that it goes. It does tie up neatly at the end, but it gives the same kind of vibes as the first one. It's very modern. It's very kind of, I don't know, it's not in your face per se, but it's very modern. It's very... At some point in this book, his niece goes live on Instagram and says, like and describe. So that's what I mean when I say that it's very modern. It's very 2025. I did have fun. Like this one as well, I gave it a 3.5. I can't really remember why. I think it's more like a 3. But I think I enjoyed the dynamic. No, I know why I gave it a 3.5. I did enjoy the dynamic between those two way more than I did the first couple. I also enjoyed that Dakota is a very free-spirited in the best way possible person, and she also, like a lot of the females you read about in a book, like she just really wants everybody to be happy and thrive and do their best, but not at the cost of her failing. That I have it here, right here. Oh my god. I also have to say, like this one, Wildcard and the 9-month contract, they are in the bundle of the 4 books I read in 5 days, and I think that's kind of also why I didn't. Well, no, it's the pop references. I do not like it. I do not like the pop culture references. I do not like when a book gets this dated, because this one, they also have, like, they talk about things that are kind of popular in a way, like, you know, like yoga and stuff like that, but it's not that specific. You know what I mean? They don't talk about a specific yoga thing that is very 2025 and everybody knows that it's very 2025. These books do. They keep on referencing things that will date the books, and it will be harder to recommend them even in a year, because they will feel very dated. in a different way. And that's why I don't really like it. But I did enjoy the banter between these two. I did enjoy the dynamic way more. I also like Calder better than I liked Wyatt. I think Wyatt is very, very grumpy and Calder isn't. Calder is very set in his ways. He feels like he has to be the person that kind of does all the crappy work because he works with his brothers. His hobbies and his interests isn't as important as what his brothers are doing. So he kind of puts himself on the back burner. And I love that Dakota stands up for him. Dakota sits down and is like, hey, you suck. Please see your brother as the person that he really is. And that's what I enjoyed about the book, more than I enjoyed the first one. Okay. Next one. I'm going to try and rapid speed through them because I keep on talking and I don't really know if I'm saying anything that will give you any indication if you want to read the book or not, but I'm just babbling. So if you're still here, thank you. Then we had my Kindle read, and it's The Gingerbread Bakery. It's like the most anticipated one out of all of them because it's Mac and Annie's story, who you have met through all of the other books, all of them. Every single one. And I have to say, I know a lot of people really, really liked Annie and they really, really wanted her story. I've never been a fan. I've always felt like Annie, I don't know, something was off. And I got that feeling in this one as well. Mac and Annie is a second chance romance, which if you've heard me talk about books before, second chance romance is not my favorite. I do not like second chance romance if the reason why they are not together is stupid. It has to make sense. It has to be a legit reason that isn't, well, he cheated on me or he did. You know, it has to be something that makes sense. Didn't in this one, for my sake. I do love that you get to see them now and you do get to see them then, so you know, you kind of get to see the dynamic grow when they were kids, and you get to see the dynamic now. But I just felt like Annie was holding a grudge for like 8 years for something that, you know, it could have been fixed with an email. It didn't make sense for her to be that angry at him for such a long time. And also, it's called The Gingerbread Bakery. First of all, if you look at the cover, like if you really look at it, it looks like a Christmas book. I did not think it was a Christmas book because it came out in the middle of September. So I was like, no, this isn't a Christmas book. I can read it now. It's set up for like 14 days before Christmas and it goes on till New Year's. And that I think maybe that also kind of ruined it a little bit for me because, I mean, I wasn't in the mood for a Christmas book, first of all. Second of all, it didn't have to be Christmas for the storyline to make sense. It could have happened whenever. You didn't have to throw Christmas in as well. Also, my favorite couple, which is from the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, you didn't see them that much. That also made me very sad because I really like them and they are not part of like the main core group, if you want to call them that. So that is also part of the reason probably why I didn't enjoy it. But yeah, no, it's my least favorite one, I think. I think it's my least favorite one, which is sad because it could have been fantastic. These are two characters you've seen them banter, and they've had great banter throughout the other books. I just didn't feel it in this one. I didn't feel the connection that I felt like I was supposed to feel. I felt like Annie was just holding a grudge because she didn't know how to not hold a grudge. I felt like Mac could have spoken up so many times over the last 8 years and just made things right. And I also feel like the mystery part of this one, it was stupid. I'm sorry, okay? I am so sorry. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but I felt like the mystery part, which is always supposed to be like a cozy mystery. It's supposed to be a little bit funny. It's supposed to be like, you know, not that serious. In this one, yeah, it was kind of funny, but it was also very, very stupid. It was just so stupid. No. I did end up giving it 4 stars. I mean, because I did enjoy it. I did have fun reading it. I think maybe if I read it more towards Christmas, maybe I would enjoy it even more. But if I take Christmas out of it, I didn't enjoy Annie and Mac's story that much. But I did end up giving it 4 stars because I still had fun. I just didn't have as fun as I did with the other books, if that makes sense. So even though it's getting a good score, it's not getting a great score compared to the other 4 books that are out in the series. Yes. Then I was like, I am on such a roll. I am doing it. We're doing it. Do you see this one? Do you see it? we're going to read The Love Hypothesis. This one, I've been dreading reading it. I've been dreading reading it because I know a lot of people love this book. It's one of the favorite books. Like we'll have like a special edition at the store, and I think it flies out of the shelf. I was very excited to read it. Yeah, I wasn't that impressed. Maybe the internet just hyped it up so much for me that it was impossible for it to live up to the expectations that I didn't know that I had put on it in my head. Or maybe it's just not my kind of story. But I think it's going to be a great movie. I just didn't really enjoy the book that much. If you do not know what it is about at all, it is about Olive. Olive is a PhD student, right? She's a third-year PhD candidate, whatever the difference is in that one. She doesn't believe in a long romantic relationship, but her best friend does, and that's what got her into this situation. Convincing Anne that Olive is on her way to a happily ever after was always going to be tough. Scientists require proof, so like any self-respective woman, Olive panics and kisses the first man she sees. The man is none other than Adam Carlson, a young hotshot professor and well-known ass. Best way to describe it, just reading off the back of it. I did enjoy Adam's character. I like that he was broody, and the fact that you only get to see things from her point of view makes him a little bit extra broody because you can't really be inside his head and know what he is thinking. But I had a hard time kind of connecting to her. She's such a smart baddie. She really is. And I think that's where the plot lost me, because I am not a smart baddie. I'm barely a baddie. So I didn't really, I didn't really connect with her in that way. Also, it felt very weird that a professor just agreed to fake date a student that he didn't really know, Also, the reason they start fake dating, I'm like, dude, what? This could have been solved in so many different ways, but you just made it way more complicated than it had to be. So yeah, no, I didn't really like this one. I do think it can make a good movie though. I do think that I do actually think it can make a great movie, because maybe when I get visuals to it, and I also feel like I get more of his point of view, and they always twist it a little bit. Hopefully they twist it in the correct way, but sad truth is that they probably won't. What if they make it worse? Because it's not a bad book. It's not a bad book. I also gave this one 4 stars.
Hello, Editing Charlotte here. I'm just going to jump in and say that I do say that I give this 4 stars, but I have been sitting on this for a while, and I don't know why, but it is 3 stars for me, just because I don't feel like it's my type of book. I do understand the hype. I do understand why people enjoy it. I did enjoy it in my own way. It's just not my type of book. So I did change it from 4 stars to 3 stars. But, we all can't like the same thing, and that is completely fine.
It's not a bad book. I just had a hard time connecting with her because she is such a smart baddie. And like I said, I am barely a baddie. So I just had a hard time connecting with her. And that's that. Then we have the book from my bestie book club in September, which is Hooked. It is a dark romance, kind of a modern retelling of Captain Hook and how he gets his, let's say, happily ever after in his weird way. Yeah, I didn't like it. There was so many things in this one that just felt unnecessary. I felt like the villain was just thrown in there to throw us off the scent. Wendy literally felt like she was still a child. Didn't really make sense. I didn't enjoy it. I can't really go into the details of why I didn't enjoy it, because all of the details on why I didn't enjoy it are spoilers. But just know that if you're going to read it, this one, it is kind of a modern retelling of Captain Hook. His name is James, and Wendy. Captain Hook is not a good person. Wendy does her best to be a good person, and she's very innocent. That's the best way I can describe her. She's very innocent. And of course, this is something that Hook wants to take advantage of. There is even a point in the book where Wendy points out that they do not know each other that well, and still she feels like they have this deep connection, and it feels very yes, I'm an adult now, but she's literally still just a child, and I'm not judging. We've all been there. We're like, oh yeah, I'm an adult now, and then 5 years later, you're like, oh my God, I was such a brat. I was a child. We've all been there. It's completely normal. But that's what this one gives. Also, at some point, even though he's a villain and even though this and that, you know, he just does some things that I just find icky, that even in like the darkest romances I've read, they still ask. I don't read that dark romances, to be honest with you. But yeah, maybe read trigger warnings before you read it. I didn't enjoy it. I gave it a 2.75, but it probably should have been a 2.5 because I didn't have the best time, and I wouldn't recommend people reading it not that enjoy the same type of books as me. Might be wrong though. You might enjoy every single book that I enjoy and still enjoy it, because you know that's the good thing about book. We can agree to disagree. We can like different books. We can like the same books, and we all can just thrive in our own little world. Then we read the second book in the Vancouver Storm series, The Fake Out. I was so excited to read this one because it is fake dating. Fake dating is one of my favorite tropes. Yes, I said it. One of my favorite tropes. This one is about Riley and, oh my God, what is his name? No, it's not about Riley. It's about Haley. It's about Haley and Rory. I combine their names. Hazel. Oh my God. It's about Hazel and Rory. I'm tired. I should get lunch. It's about Hazel and Rory. Hazel is the sister of the FMC from the previous book. Rory is the childhood friend of the MMC from the first book. So they're interconnected standalones. I was very excited because fake dating, it can be done in so many ways. I think it's so fun to read. This one, it disappointed me, and I'm very sad. I'm very sad to say so. The reason they start fake dating is because her ex-boyfriend gets a contract to the team, the Vancouver Storms. She's a physiotherapist and he is out on the ice trying to hit the puck and do stuff. She gets assigned to be the physiotherapist of her ex-boyfriend. Her ex-boyfriend is a piece of shit. You learned that already in the first book, so that is not a spoiler. So you already know that. That's information you bring with you, okay? You do not like her ex-boyfriend. Maybe his name is Connor. Can't remember. Anywho, she kind of blurs out that she is dating Rory, and Rory just goes, I'm fine with that because I've been wanting to actually date you since high school. Good, okay? They're on the same playing field. He wants to help her. And usually when you read they're adults, right? He is in the NHL. She has an adult job. She is a physiotherapist. She has done all the training. She's, you know, they are considered adults. This involves going to team dinners, doing this, doing that, going to fundraisers, blah, 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 blah. But no, of course Rory gets put in the same room when they travel with her ex-boyfriend, and then decides to just, you know, throw salt in the womb. Don't throw salt in the room. Just decides to be a massive dick, basically, and starts doing stuff in front of her ex-boyfriend to make him more jealous and more mad. And it feels very childish. It feels very high schooly. I don't know a single ass grown person that would do the stuff that he does just to make somebody else's ex jealous. Your own ex, yeah, go for it, you know, have at it. But I don't know a single grown person that would do it to make somebody else's ex jealous. It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I'm not here for it. So I gave it a 3.5. It was fun. It wasn't my typical fake dating one. Like I said, there were more stuff that I didn't really like about it. The banter was good. I really did enjoy that Rory stepped up and, you know, wanted to take care of her, and he did it in a way that, I don't know, he showed a lot of love. I did enjoy that. I did have fun reading that part of it. So I gave it 3.5 stars on that note. Then I read Powerless. Yeah, Powerless by Elsie Silver. It is the third book in the Chestnut Spring series. This one is about Jasper and Salone, and they are childhood friends. I haven't read that many childhood friends stories. Like, usually it's second chance, but this isn't a second chance one. They've never dated before. So getting to see them both kind of act on their feelings, it was so nice. Jasper, favorite man in the Chestnut Spring series. He loves with all his heart. He takes care of the people that he loves. You do get to learn more about his background and how he ended up kind of becoming an Eton boy. It's heart-wrenching. It's so sad. Not not that I cried when I read the story, not that sad. Not that sad, but it was still tough to hear that somebody went through this, and knowing that somebody else could probably relate is very, very sad. But it was very nice to get to know him and get to know why he is the way he is. It was also kind of heart-wrenching to see Salone go from thinking that everybody that she has in her life that she really cares about doesn't necessarily care that much about her unless it benefits them. That one was also not the easiest pill to swallow, but their story is good. I love their story. Like I said, I think it's my favorite story. I also don't want to tell you too much about it because I do think one of my favorite things from this book as well was that I literally went into it blind. But he is a hockey player. He is not a cowboy. So if you go into this one thinking that you're gonna get save a horse, ride a cowboy, is not necessarily that, because he is a hockey player, but in his off season he helps around the farm, and he is part of the family, so he is part of it, but he has a different career than the other brothers in the series. I didn't think that anything could top Jasper for me. I gave him 4 stars. It's the highest rating I've given to the Chestnut Spring series. Chestnut Spring series hasn't really lived up to the expectations that the internet has put on it, but maybe because I love Rose Hill so much. What do I know? But Jasper really hit it for me. I loved Jasper. I loved Salone. I really, really liked that. It felt like the flaws she thinks that she has were part of the things that he loved the most about her. So yeah, it made me kind of fall in love with the Chestnut Spring series, and that's also kind of why I already read one of the books on my October TBR. Well, part of the reason is also because I started it as an audiobook because we did inventory at work. I finished that one as an audiobook, and I needed something light and funny and haha that I could listen to because I didn't want to get sad in front of 6 of my coworkers, that'd be weird. So I decided to go right over to Reckless. Reckless is Theo Silva. He is a bull rider. He is like the prodigy of Wrath, which is from the first book. He is also a bull rider. He's the FMC from the first book. It's his prodigy, like he is training him. And it's Winter's story, and she is the sister of Summer. Summer is the FMC. Did I call Ref the FMC? MMC, he's the MMC. And Summer is the FMC from the first book. So you've met Winter several times. One thing about these books is that they feel more connected. Same with the Rose Hill series. It feels more connected than an interconnected standalone. Yes, you can read them separately. You can read one without reading the other one. But the story does connect still. So I would recommend reading them in the order that the series came out if you want to read all of them. But yeah, Theo and Winter. Winter is the character that when you meet her to start out with, you don't really know if you're supposed to like her, hate her, or just pretend that she's dead. Like, you don't really know what to feel about her. And when you meet her in this one as well, you get the sense that she doesn't really know if she should like herself, hate herself, or not really care. This is kind of how she's grown up as well, feeling that to protect other people, she kind of has to be a bitch. And Theo is surrounded by so much love and integrity in a different way than her. So seeing their worlds collide and her seeing what it means to actually be taken care of, and for him to be like, hey, I will be the person you can lean on. I still think I love Jasper more, but Winter just made this story like the best story for me. And this one, it's not second chance. It's not, I don't know what category you would put it in, but there is life situations because it's supposed to be just like a one-time thing. Never talk to me again, never look at me again, They keep on referencing the Post-it in Grey's Anatomy, but they have a coaster. So, but something happens and all of a sudden they get thrown together again. And I don't know, you get to see Winter fall in love with this man. You also get to see him fall in love with her naturally, but you also kind of get to see them both fall in love with themselves, which is fantastic. It It's so much fun to see people just fall into their own. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. Winter is a doctor, so if you read the first one, you know that, the douche is gonna show back up again. If you haven't read the first one, you don't know who the douche is, so you don't really mind. I did have a sense that they were going to show up again because of the way the story is connected and the way everything is kind of tied up. You also, through both of them, kind of get set up for the final book, because the MMC from the final book, you learn a little bit about their story in this one, and then you learn a little bit different thing from their story that's connected to this story naturally in this one. So I am very excited to finish the story and see if it just gets better and better and better, because right now it really feels like it does. And maybe that's also why I enjoy Rose Hill so much, because the way she's writing it, it feels like it flows in a way that makes me really want to read more, basically. If you haven't read Rose Hill and you haven't read the Chestnut Spring series, I probably would recommend, I know the reason I started with the Rose Hill series is because literally on her website it said that she would probably recommend just starting with the newest one, but I think maybe I would start with the Chestnut Springs and then read Rose Hill. But yeah, I've been babbling for almost 55 minutes, and I don't want to post a 55-minute long video, so that was it for me today. That was all the books that I've read in September. If I told you anything of value of these books, congratulations, it doesn't feel like I have. But if you're still here and you just hear me ramble about the books and not give you that much context, but still tell you if I love them or not, thank you. I really, really do appreciate you. Applause all the way around for you. If you read any of them, please tell me in the comment section. If there's one of them you haven't read but you now really kind of feel like reading, please tell me so we can talk about it. And yes, that was it for me today. Thank you so much for spending some of your precious time with me. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.